What's going on, guys? How you guys doing today? Hopefully you guys having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about Keelan and is he worth it. Now for those who have Bunny and Freyna,
so good for you, girl. Go on.
Those options are going to be the best for mobbing. Now this guy, he is fun to play with, but we're going to do our first impression about him specifically. And we try to go for Transcendent mods. It's been really tough grinding it out for hours, and I have yet to get the mod that I'm specifically looking forward to. So we'll go over that specifically, but this is my first impression about him, and if we get those mods I would do an actual official guide, but this is the first impression. I think this guy is very fun in dungeons. He's not going to be as great as Freyna. Freyna is just so crazy. She's on a tier on her own when it comes to dungeon, but what he can do is pretty fun. There's a lot of things looking at his kit that can be very confusing. I'm going to try to break it down in this video for you guys, so let's get right into it.
The void is filled with the unexpected. And I enjoy that.
All right, so to look at his kit, you got to understand a few things. There is a lot of debuffs and buff that he does do. So let's try to understand his thing. There is an ongoing thing that he does where he does an acidic decay that makes you do more damage the more stacks you have, pretty much. Now you do have a duration that the stack can stay on, and then it will go away out of combat, 10 seconds give or take, but that is what you're gonna be looking for. Now every stack you do have a faster movement, and on top of that you do get a little bit more damage on top of each stack that you do, as his passive gives you 4. Now looking at his skill 1, what you do is you activate your skill 1, like a few missiles will come out. You have about 3 or 4, actually no, 4 missiles will come out, and it'll hit multiple targets. It is random, the closest to them that you can see. Now it is like Haley, where you need a line of sight. You can't hit the target behind you, and when you hit a target you will get an acidic erosion on there. That is one of your DLTs that you can have a stacking on there, and you can keep it going by adding more, get that duration going if you want to add that duration to be a little bit longer. But pretty much you activate 1, you get a debuff going. Skill 2 is your onslaught. It's pretty much your dodge. When you dodge towards an enemy, you would knock them back if they're a lower mob. At least don't get knocked back, but you do damage as you dash into them. You would also give them another erosion on there as well, so there's another debuff that can be added on top of it. You get to add 5 dodges at any time. You have a stack of 5. You can bring the cooldown down, but even till this, I try to bring it even further down. It's really tough to bring it down, but there is a way. If you're having issues with cooldown, there is a way. I'm going to show you in a little bit how you can keep the dodges going, but the dodge does pretty good damage. It has 797. I have a max range because I'm trying to get a little bit more range on the character. I'm trying to get a little bit more range, so I have max range, which is giving me a little bit less skill power modifier right now. We're just doing some testing. I just finished doing some dungeons and trying him out, and I do like him. He is a lot of fun. We were in our live stream doing it for hours. People were noticing how fun he was, and this is pretty much where you're going to be using a lot, your onslaught, your dodge. Now your next is your skill 3, Septic Gust. Pretty much what it does is it would give a debuff as well, but if they have acidic decay, what you end up doing is adding more damage to it as well. And again, you have that extra debuff. The range on this is pretty big, and to really focus on activating your ability, you're going to want to make sure you have a lot more range. Now for me, I have overkill on my range because I'm really trying to see if I can get far enough to activate it, because for someone like myself who is using onslaught so much, I'm literally onslaughting, dashing everywhere, and then activating my 3 as I go around. So for me specifically, I'm trying to have the most range I can to compete a little bit with a lot of other characters who have big AoEs. So I am overkill when it comes to that. But I'm trying to see what's best. But this is a really good one. Like I said, you do get a decay on there. You do have a debuff, and you do more damage if you have already aesthetic stack on top of it. Now your 4 is another ability. Now this one is specifically what it would do is if you are within the proximity of someone that has a debuff and aesthetic decay, it would actually light out blue. And I will show you footage of that in a little bit. Now if you do, you would do a lot more damage per stack that you have. Now here specifically, you're doing about 1700 if you have it maxed out. You can increase it. Like I said, I have mine a little lower because I have range on there that I'm lowering my modifier. But you can do quite a bit of damage if you have multiple stacks up there, and then you activate 4. 4 is going to be your bossing build. If you're going to be focusing on that, you're going to try to have as much stacks as you can, which is around 5 stacks, and then you're going to be able to activate your 4. This is a really strong one. Now, this is your trick. If you want to use your dodge a lot more often, if there are no enemies nearby, you can activate your 4, and then it will give you 3 stacks of onslaught on top of it. So if you have 1, it will give you 4, and then you can keep dashing going around, which is really good if you want to keep that dashing going around for you guys. So that is my way to keep dashing going around. I'm going to show you guys some footage of that. So now as we look at him, you can only use 1 and 2. Now keep in mind, very important, you do not need MP at all. You just need to use your 1 and 2 to fill up your unique bar. Once you fill up your unique bar, then you can use your 3 and 4.
This is your end.
All right, now once you get about halfway of your first bar, you can use your 3 if you want to. Now as I got closer, my 4 popped up. Now my decay just went away. But as you see here again, I activate this. I can activate my 4, but unfortunately I do not have enough resources. To activate your 4, you need to be above half of a bar. But you don't have to be half of a bar to use your 3. As you see there, activate 3, you're good to go. Now what 3 does, it gives a burst damage, which is really good if you have a lot of ads that are staying up.
You can't run away.
You just activate all your abilities, get them going, get close, activate 3, and then burst damage. That's a lot of burst damage. So you do, if you're going to be focusing on 3, which is kind of what I'm doing, 2 and 3 are singular, 1 and 4 are fusion. So I am currently, even right now, I am rocking a singular build reactor. I have a submachine gun, singular, toxic skill cooldown, and toxic skill power boost. And with that, I am focusing on using my 2 and 3 a lot. Now, as you see here, my bar did go up, but because I used my 3, the bar went down. So if you are looking to use your 4, just keep in mind that you cannot use your 3 or you will eat up some of that energy. Now that I got really close, your 4 is going to do a lot of damage, and you have a lot of stacks up there. You can activate your 4.
Give in.
And without a lot of damage mods, we are doing 3.5 damage, which is really good.
Crumbling.
Now, let me show you real quick what I'm using for mods. Right now, like I said, I'm focusing on trying to understand his kit, and I do like his 2 and 3 a lot. I am farming out dungeons right now, and I'm trying to get him stronger. We have 3 catalysts in him currently right now as we speak. You start off with 2 R mods, and then you can keep going. Now, right now, I have some health. I have max range right now. Like right now, I'm maxed out range. On top of that, I have some damage mods I'm doing, some cooldowns. Like I'm really just focusing on cooldown and range for him because I want to be able to activate my 3 really far, as far as I can to activate my 3, do a lot of burst damage. And then on top of that range, I'm also being able to use that range for when I do damage, anybody nearby is going to get knocked back and get some damage, and then you're going to get piercing damage. So you have a lot of range you want. That burst damage as you dodge through your enemy. Perfect. And then on top of that, anyone nearby is also going to get piercing damage too if they're in that radius. Right now, it's really tough to say what his weapon would be. I'm just using this reactor, so I'm using Thunder Cage. But there is a few weapons that I have in mind. You have the the Python if you wanted to, but you have to shoot it to get the buff. So I don't know if you like that. Specifically for ad clearing, which he's not really the greatest ad clearer. He's just as good. I would say he's below Viesa on that ranking bar. Viesa is amazing. Valby is really good. Haley is not great at all, even though I try to use her a lot. And even with that mod for her one-dimensional build, this is way better than that specifically, because you can do burst damage specifically and have a big range versus where you use Haley. She only really has one AoE, so he's better than Haley for sure when it comes to that, which isn't saying much, but you could use him. He is fun. I enjoy him using him right now in dungeons. But if you're going to focus on bossing, this is a perfect time. They switched out the reactors. This is a perfect time if you guys want to farm out the reactors. You have a toxic singular and a toxic fusion. So if you guys want to farm out for those specifically, you have multiple areas. You no longer need to have a specific weapon. Like if you're looking for Thunder Cage or anything like that, they did update the game for that. So if you're looking for toxic and singular, please go ahead and start farming out for him. Now for fusion specifically, I'll probably be doing a lot more cooldown and then maxing out as much skill power as I can specifically for him. There's a lot of skill power mods we have that can do some crazy damage. And like again, the fact that he hits for 3.5 million, and I just started putting this mod in, and I'm still hitting for 3.5, which is really good. You can probably scale that even more if you add a little bit more mods. You probably wouldn't, if you're bossing, you probably don't care for range as much. You can do cooldown, a lot more damage specifically on here. Now, when it comes to mods I'm looking for specifically, I am looking for focus on prey. What it says void corrosion is modified to target a single enemy with an increase in the number of projectiles fired. So this will probably take away your one ability potentially, and this will allow you to do more projectile damage, which would be very nice on your one. But only one target would have the actual debuff, it looks like. I personally think this might be a really good one to get. You do increase your max stacks on top of that acidic erosion, so you can only have 5. You can have probably 6 or 7. I don't have the mod just right now. If someone has it, leave a comment down below. The other one you can get is Septic Gust. So instead of having the onslaught do damage, what it would do instead, it would do no damage, but the decay specifically of the onslaught will slow down, so it'd be easier to have more targets to have the decay and stay a lot longer. I would like the onslaught damage that you can do specifically if you can. I think it would be overall better for him, but I prefer the focus on prey if I was you. But we're going to be trying to get more mods specifically for him and try him out. But overall, this is my first impression. I think he's really fun to have. Like I said, a lot of times, the way I have my cooldown now, I'm doing 1 and then doing 2. You can almost cancel your animation if you do 1 to 2. See? If you want, you can cut your animation, do 1 to 2. Boom. Unfortunately, you cannot cut your animation from 3 to 2, but this is an easy, quick way that if you are going to dash, just go 1, 2, boom. You can do a lot of damage, and just with the 1 and 2 would get you enough to have your 3 up, which is really nice.
This is gonna hurt.
Down below, how do you guys think about Keelan? Is he a character you guys want to play? Is he a must play for you guys? Like I said, mobbing, if you're going to be a Freyna main, you know, Freyna just going to be overall a better character just because you have an AoE build that built into it. Plus you could do some bossing with your 4. But for me, I think because he's the newest character, the fact that you can do a lot of dodging, which is really cool for me. Like I said, you could play around with his dodge by activating his 4 when you're nowhere near a decay target. You can keep more dodging going. I love that. I love movement stability. I do love EC mode. When you activate his 4, you can keep activating his 4 often. I love that type of style. And the fact that you don't need MP is super, super fun. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.